The information provided on this podcast is for general informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your qualified health provider with any questions you may have. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have heard on this podcast. Reliance on any information provided here is solely at your own risk.
Welcome. This is Birth, Baby. Your hosts are Ciarra Morgan and Samantha Kelly. Ciarra is a birth doula, hypnobirthing educator, and pediatric sleep consultant.
Samantha is a birth doula, childbirth educator, and lactation counselor. Join us as we guide you through your options for your pregnancy, birth, and postpartum journey. Thank you to our listeners for your continued support. If you enjoy our content, please be sure to like, follow, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts. This helps us gain visibility to other people that could benefit from listening in. Hello, everyone. Today we have Kimberly Berry with us. She actually was a birth doula trained with us, and we are so excited to tell her story today about becoming a birth doula and why she did. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you guys for having me.
So to start us off, tell us a little bit about what kind of first drew you to doula work.
Well, so I had my first child when I was 19. And I always say I'm a boy mom, but she actually was a girl. Her name was Jalen. And she passed away at 14 months from a respiratory virus. So I always knew that I wanted to do something, right? Like, you lose a child, and honestly, it's a grief that never leaves you. But I wanted to use that grief to help others, right? Help other moms, help other families, but I really wasn't sure in what way. And I used to say, oh, like I want to be a labor and delivery nurse. I just want to help other people bring life into the world. And then I saw you guys' or Ciarra's post about your Birth Baby Academy. And we were at a horse show. Our kids were riding because that's our life. And I was talking to her about it, and I was like, hey, I think I want to do your doula program. And I'm going to be completely transparent because I thought I was going to be delivering babies. And she was like, that's a midwife. And so we sat there that night and we had a whole conversation, right, about like, what does a doula actually do compared to what a midwife does? And I was like, okay, yeah, I like the fact that I'm not responsible for the outcome, right? I don't think my heart could take being responsible for that if a family were to lose a child, right? But I can absolutely be responsible for the birth experience that the birthing person and their partner has, and still feel that same type of a reward in helping them, bring life into this world and experience the joy of birthing a baby and all of the feel goods that come with that. So I guess, actually, I know that is a way where I said, okay, well, I can use that grief and turn it into purpose, to be there for others. There may be other people that have lost a child. And if they're like me, then you get pregnant that next time and you're full of worry, right? And you're full of concern. And unless somebody's been through it, people can say all the time, like, everything's going to be okay. But it's something to know that, like, you actually know this journey and you actually know this path. You know how I'm feeling. You know how to make me feel comfortable about it so that I am okay with this process, so that I can grieve what I've lost and still be happy for what's to come.
Or just be fine with not being okay, and that this person's not going to make you feel like you have to feel it's okay. Yes. That day that we had that conversation at a horse show, which was so funny, I remember your husband was standing there waiting to leave, and we were still talking, and he was probably like, oh my God, will these ladies shut up? Like, I could just see it on his face. Like, it is late. What are we doing? We have to be back here tomorrow morning early. What are we doing?
He is so used to that.
Yeah. She's like, I never stopped talking. So it was really fun though, because I didn't know you were interested in this and we had not really talked about it. You knew what I did, but then you hear I have this birth doula training and we were doing a scholarship for the first round and you were like, I think I want to apply. And I remember sending you the link that day, but there are a lot of different doula training programs out there. So you be honest. And if it's a no, it's fine. If it's a yes, it's fine. Once you saw that, did you look into any other programs to see what all was out there? Or were you just like, well, I know Ciarra, she made this one and I'm going to do it?
I did not look into any other programs. You are so passionate about what you do, right? And you're always talking about birth. We can be at a horse show and she's talking about birth, right? I'm still thinking that she's delivering these babies. I'm going to be honest. But
what's funny is even if I don't talk about it, everyone else brings it up because they know what I do and they want to talk about it.
And she always has on like her doula shirts and it's on her car. And her daughter is talking about, like babies and birth. And so all of those things. So no, I didn't look into any other thing. It was like, I know you, I trust you. I know that you love what you do. I think I'm really interested in taking this class. And probably when I said it to my husband, he was like, because I'm always so interested in something, right? But we did. We sat there, we talked that night. She sent me the link and I applied right away. Like, I want to do this. And I was interested, but it was not until I walked out of training the first day that I was like, this is it.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
So what things were it in training that you feel like kind of, I guess, lit that passion for you?
So one thing I'm going to say is I've taken lots of trainings, right? I've done tons of different jobs and entrepreneurships, like different things. And gatekeeping is so real in lots of different aspects, right? You guys laid it all out, like all of the things. I learned so much about all different types of things. I think the first thing that pulled me in was hormones in labor, right? Because why are we necessary? Why is it that having a doula there decreases your chances of a C-section by 60%, right? I can tell that to somebody. But if I don't know all of the things that go into that, it's really just lip service. So when I'm like, oh, that makes sense. That's why my last birth was so different from the first two where, I was induced. And they were all fine and great in their way. And I was on board with all of the things that happened in all three of them. But it made so much sense to me because I'd had different experiences with all three of my labors and my births. So it was that. It was, we talked about biases, and Black maternal crisis in birthing, right? And it's not something that is always mentioned. Like I was in respiratory class. We didn't talk about anything as far as diversity goes. And it's necessary. It's important to know because these are the types of clients that you will be serving, right? And so you need to know how their experience may be different from someone else's. It was very hands-on. Like we got up, we did exercises. You guys answered questions. And even though the training included so much, I never felt like it was information overload. I was just sitting there like, okay, I want more, I want more, I want more.
I remember one of the girls was like, I planned on doing things when I got home, but like all I wanted to do was read more about what I just learned. And I just wanted the other days to hurry up and come because I wanted to learn, which was really cool for us as the trainers to hear that feedback. And we were excited too, to be teaching it to you guys. So I'm talking about the disparities and that we, talk about those things in training. I thought that was so cool to see right away when you went to a thing called Doula Share with us here in Austin. And there were so many people that were excited that there was a Black birth doula there and a Black postpartum doula there because you immediately went on to do postpartum doula training as well, which wasn't expected. And the fact, like, people were like knocking down your door. I mean, there was one lady you hadn't emailed back or called back or whatever, and you had kind of like, oh, I'm on vacation. Like, I'll have to get back to you. And she kept coming back to you, being like, I am Black and having a Black doula would be amazing. I want to talk to you. So I loved seeing that come into fruition immediately. But so when you went to training, we do all the things and you're trained, but did you feel like it prepared you for birth or as much as it could, and there were still a lot of surprises? How was that kind of first birth experience? Did anything catch you off guard?
So that was the funny thing. I think I sent you guys a text and was like, oh my God, like I tried this that you said in training and I tried that. It really works. So yes, I mean, you go to training, right? And I'm like, okay, I've gotten all of this knowledge. And I'm not going to lie, it took me a while. Like at first, I'm like, no, I'm not getting any clients. And Ciarra's like, I don't see you marketing yourself. And I wasn't because I was so nervous, right? So I'm still at home, like,
I was like, we are in the same Facebook groups and I do not see any posts.
I'm at home, like trying to read more and I'm going down these rabbit holes, right? Just because I didn't feel like I was ready. But I was very well prepared. I went to that birth and it was like, try these different maneuvers or tactics and, say these things and prepare the client this way. And all of those things were so beneficial. And afterwards, the client even told me, like, just a firm hand on her chest. She said, that was the best thing you could have done. Like, it calmed me so much. At one point, she told her husband, get your hand on the other side of my chest, just like she's doing. So it was hilarious because in my head, I'm like, this actually works. So yes, I do. I think that it absolutely prepared me as well as I could have been prepared, right? With any other training, you're still going to have to do some research on your own and learn a little bit more about certain things because you just can't teach it all. But absolutely, once I got in there and saw how things were going, I did feel like, okay, I'm ready for this. I can do this.
I totally forgot about that whole hand on the chest thing that you had told me that. Like when I asked you that question right now, I wasn't prompting you to have that answer. I really was wondering. And then I remembered you saying that. She sent us a text that said something like, I was wondering, how much is this Birth Baby Academy really going to have taught me? Like, I don't know how I'm going to do when I get there. She's like, but then I did this thing. And the mom was like, that was amazing. And I was like, oh, they knew what they were talking about.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Yeah. You got like that instant gratification of getting that instant feedback, because sometimes you leave a birth, even us, after hundreds of births, sometimes we'll leave like, I don't know if they thought that was helpful. Like, I think I was helpful, but they were kind of quiet about it. And I have no idea how they feel about it. But that was really awesome that on that first experience, you got that feedback.
And it was like right away. I said, okay. And it makes you feel good. It's like, okay, what I'm doing is helping, right? What I'm doing is helping. It's comforting. It's calming. And that's why I'm here. I'm here for the emotional support, the informational support, the physical support. And so that they know that they have a backup here.
It's funny, like these little kind of tricks that we pick up along the way, and some of those, we share in our training and on the podcast and stuff. But these little tricks that you pick up along the way, because it's like putting a hand on somebody's chest feels like the smallest little thing, but it's not something that somebody would just do without knowing about it, without having heard it. And it's those little, I think, bits and pieces that make doulas so effective in that we do this all the time. We work, we learn, we read the research, we talk to other doulas, we do all of these, go through trainings, we do all these things that are make it so that when we go to a birth, we know what things are generally going to be helpful for people. And yes, we're there in a supportive role. We're not a care provider. We're not catching babies, but that piece is so powerful.
And it works anywhere. It's not just a hospital birth. It's not just a birth center birth or just a home birth that we're teaching you how to support birth at. You can learn how to support birth in any scenario.
So you alluded to it a little bit, and about texting us and stuff. But after training, what did it look like for you? Do you have mentorship? What kind of community do you have around you? What does that look like? And how do you feel like that has influenced where you are as a doula now?
So yes, I did do the mentorship pathway through Birth Baby Academy. Honestly, I'm really glad that I did it. I feel like if I had not, I wouldn't be, I'd probably still be like shying away from it, right? But I know that I can reach out at any time. Like we have a text thread group, we have our monthly meetings where you don't just bring information for us. It's kind of like, what do you guys need? What do you want to know? What do you want to talk about? And that's super helpful because you can bring all of the knowledge in the world, right? But it may not be what we're really coming up against or encountering or needing more information about right now. So it's super, super helpful. Like I was able to text you guys before I went to the birth and just keep you abreast on what was going on. Am I giving them the right information? Is there anything else that I should be telling them? When I got there, I'm letting you know what's going on, even down to like, hey, this is what's going on with the epidural. This is what we're doing. Anything else that I should be doing? I absolutely would recommend the mentorship program. Not only like I went to the doula share with you guys, right? And I'm sure you would tell everybody about that, whether we're in the mentorship program or not, right? Because that's just what you guys do. Like you're always posting all of the things and all of the places to be. But it's something about having someone there to kind of hold your hand and guide you through as you're building this business and really getting your feet wet and starting to learn things. Because again, the training only takes us so far, but when we get run up against these one-offs, I know that I can, hey, Sam, hey, Ciarra,
Yeah, I think there are different personalities for sure. Like some people really like that feedback, whereas others are like, you know what, I'm just going to go do it. And like, if I need help, I'll talk to other doulas and just network and get it that way. And I think either one is fine, but knowing your personality is important to seeing what you think is going to be best for you, because not everybody takes our mentorship pathway. And a lot of doula training programs don't have that option of getting mentorship from your direct trainers. So that is why we did that, because both of us think we would have benefited from that during training. And we do have people who take it from other states too. So we can still be of help, even if we don't know what your local community is like. But we do encourage people throughout the program and in their certification process to be networking with other birth workers, not just doulas, in their area, so that they are getting that exposure and the stories from other people. And, Samantha and I work together. So we always get to, go back and forth and send each other information about what's going on at the birth, or beforehand, both of us are in the text thread. So we know what's going on. And that feeling of camaraderie is so helpful for us because we're not in it alone. And so even though you're not a partner doula, that you have somebody else, it's like you have us that you're able to send a screenshot to and be like, can you believe what their doctor just said? Like, this isn't normal, right? Just like, am I crazy? So that has been really fun for us too. We knew people would need the mentorship, but we didn't realize how much we would love doing the mentorship. I think that's been really fun.
It's been really fun. It's been really helpful. I have joined like all of the doula groups, right? So I'm laying in bed at night. Mind you, I need glasses. I don't have them on, but I'm laying in bed at night trying to look at my phone. And I just love how much they're feeding into each other, right? How much you're learning, how people are sharing their experiences. And like you said, not only doula groups, like when I went to the doula share, I got lactation consultants and all different types of people, therapists, whether it's mental health or physical therapy. I even had a couple that reached out to me and was like, hey, it was so nice to meet you. And I've tried to get them, to reach out to one of the local pediatricians, because I feel like some of those at where I work, because I feel like some of those parents could definitely use those services too. So it's great in being able to offer services to your clients, right? When they're asking about something or they need a resource. And it feels good when I'm like, hey, and I don't get anything for referring you over to them, but I talked to them and they were great and they were knowledgeable and they may be able to help you with this, that, or the other. So it's super important to be networking.
Because you don't have to know all the things. Doulas aren't going to know all the things. We just have to know who knows the things. So
Yes.
having that connection and being able to give that information to parents or other people that are just asking you, even if a Facebook group or whatever, you may not even ever work with them, but you're like, hey, you need a therapist? I know that this person does that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could go back and give yourself any advice on jumping into birth work or talk to yourself before you took training, is there any advice that you would give yourself or something that you wish you had known or not been so afraid of or whatever?
No, I would just say, like, trust in myself, right? Trust in myself, trust in the training that I got. Because I think I got my first client after 6 months, but a lot of that was myself because I just didn't trust that I was like ready for it. So I wanted to learn more. And of course you should. But yeah, I would just tell myself, like, just jump into it because that first birth experience was so amazing. I'm like, yeah, I could have done this months before. Like, I don't know what I was waiting for. And I honestly can't wait for the next one. Like, I couldn't wait to tell y'all about it, get home and tell my husband about it. I was telling my mom about it, everybody.
You're like, y'all better just buckle up. You're going to hear lots of stories, whether you want to or not. I think that is something that's really hard when people don't have the financial ability to just drop their job and pick up doula work. I mean, that's a leap of faith. And so that's a scary thing. Like if you don't have the ability or you weren't already staying home or something, or you're not already in a job transition, it's really a leap of faith to leave the current career that you're in and jump in. So that makes a lot of sense that you would wait 6 months. Like, gosh, I have to make sure I'm really going to do this. Like, I have to make sure I'm really into this and still continuing to have that passion because if I quit my job, I gotta go. So you may have to call in sick a couple days a month first to, make sure this is what you want to do. And maybe you'll get fired, but that'll also be your sign.
Yeah, for sure. Because, as you know, like, my boss at the time was on board, but it was kind of like, hey, I've got this birth and I'm going to have to go. And if you're not on board, then I guess we kind of have to figure it out when I come back. So, because I need this job right now, but I need to be building my clientele. So I'm just doing it. Yeah. But I'm glad that I did.
I'm so glad that you took that leap because it's scary. It's scary. Even as someone who already was working for myself, getting into that was scary because you just don't know what to expect going to that birth. You're like, am I going to love this or am I going to hate this? I just invest all this time in it. So far,
I'm more nervous for the people we train. It's funny. I wasn't as nervous for myself, but it's like, because I can be mad at myself for quitting my job, that's just me. Now I'm helping other people do this. And I'm like, well, what if it doesn't work and they hate it? They're going to blame me, So I find that I'm more anxious for other people than I was for myself.
I feel like I knew I was going to love it. Like after training, once I went home that first day, I knew, I'm like, okay, this is it. This is what I want to do. I didn't really want to be catching the babies. I thought I did, but no, seriously, this is what I want to do. I was more nervous about not being what they needed me to be, right? During their birth, not being the help that they were intending on me to be, or, that's where I was doubting myself. So, and that's what took me longer to jump in and like, oh, well, let me try to learn a little more here, a little more there. So I'm glad that I finally did because it was something so rewarding, about that first birth and just knowing that you were exactly what they needed during that time.
Yeah. We're glad too. I think you are a valuable resource in Austin. You're going to be you already are an amazing doula. And we're excited.
Thank you.
So for anyone who's listening to this and they're like, wow, Kim sounds amazing. I want to work with her. How can I find you? Where can people get in touch?
I am actually with Empowered Beginnings, Austin, Texas. So you can get in touch with me through them. I actually joined Ciarra and Sam's team and I would love to work with you guys.
Yeah, I just have to say, I have been so incredibly impressed. I knew you would be great, but I didn't know how just on fire you would be. And I've been so impressed. I mean, people's reactions to you, you get hired so quickly when people interview with you. You were called to this work. We don't have many people that have trained with us that get to be on our team and that we want, that we're like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. And you were just one of those bright lights that we're like, oh my gosh, we've got to work with her and see her thrive. So we love you. And thank you so much for being here and sharing your story. And we are so excited to see you continue to thrive.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for everything. I really appreciate you both so much.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kim. Thank you for joining us on Birth, Baby. Thanks again to Longing for Orpheus for our music. You can look him up on Spotify. Remember to leave a review, share, and follow wherever you get your podcasts. See you next week.